Sanjeev, as we were discussing, the voter turnout, at least as per the provisional figures put out by the Election Commission, the fifth phase actually seems to be much lower compared to the first four phases. But what, according to you, were some of the predominant issues in this phase? It was largely the central Awadh region. There's been a lot of talk about Ayodhya, where goes without saying Ram Mandir is the biggest issue. Therefore, it is believed to be, advantage BJP there. Then Prayagraj, formerly Allahabad, also going to polls today. How do you read today's polling?
Neha, I've been saying in the past also that, and I agree with our esteemed guest that whenever the voting percentage is lower, historically, it favors the ruling dispensation. And I happen to travel to, parts of, Pratapgarh and Ayodhya recently. And there is no overpowering issue in the election in that phase. And therefore, you don't see any kind of a sort of wave or resentment against the current government, which can actually come out and, create a sensation. And we are seeing, a similar trend being reflected in the voting percentage, which is which is lower than what it was in the previous election. If you look at the voting patterns right from 2012 onwards, you will see that voting percentage went up significantly in 2017. From 2012, it went up in 2014, then in 2017 and 2019. And we've seen the kind of change that has happened since then. So there has been not much change in voting patterns. And of course, if you go to places like Prayagraj and Ayodhya, you will see that they're entirely different cities now from what they were. So a lot of work has happened on the ground. Tourists have started coming into these places. Therefore, there is no such change or urgency to bring about any kind of change in these regions. That's the feeling I got when I traveled there. So therefore, and I can see a similar trend even in the voting patterns. So for me, it would be status quo in this part of phase 5.
Sanjeev, let me come to you now. There are many who've pointed out that while there may have been anger amongst the voters over a series of issues, whether it was the Yogi Adityanath administration's handling of the second wave of the COVID crisis or unemployment, of course, there was a lot of farmer anger in Western Uttar Pradesh. But by and large, there are those who say that, the BJP has managed to counter that anti-incumbency and assuage some of that anger, through their welfare schemes, by reaching out to their voters, to the women. There's also been a lot of talk about a Hindu-Muslim polarization. We recall how Yogi Adityanath said this was going to be an 80-20% election. On the other hand, you have Akhilesh Yadav, who seems to have stitched together a rainbow coalition this time, hoping to give the BJP a run for its money. To what extent do you believe that is really likely to help the Samajwadi Party in this election?
Frankly, I don't think that there will be much difference to the Samajwadi Party's fortunes by stitching up these alliances. Like we saw in 2019, that it was the BSP which gained the most from the alliance between the SP and the BSP. In this election, it's most likely going to be the RLD that's going to gain more from the SP alliance. It also shows that, the Samajwadi Party realized that, they're on a weaker wicket than the BJP and they went for these alliances. But, taking in leaders like Dharam Singh Saini and Swami Prasad Maurya, who themselves are, struggling in this election to think that they will be able to bring the vote of their particular communities to the Samajwadi Party. That, I think, came a little late in the day for them. Plus, when you go to places like Ayodhya or Prayagraj or Varanasi, even Gorakhpur, these cities have totally changed. You had the Kumbh in Prayagraj, so the city has got a totally new look. You go to Ayodhya, you will see so much of work happening with the construction happening next to the Ramlala Janmabhoomi place. Similarly, in Varanasi, you've got the whole corridor coming up. So these are all tactical things which provide good optics for the BJP. So therefore, the onus is on the Samajwadi Party to have created a new narrative which can break this vote from the BJP. Also, what's happening in these phases now is that you will see less of, Jats, Gujars and Yadavs. It will be more of, the other OBCs, like you've got the Patels, and you've got the Mauryas coming up in this region. And there the BJP has tie-ups with these smaller parties. So therefore, going by the voting percentage and the sort of narrative, going by the narrative which was not very clear for the Samajwadi Party on the ground in this phase, I would still say that it's advantage BJP.